Honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, if you turn your attention to the right of the stage, we will present to you our new SaskTel Plaza of Honor inductees.
Our first inductee made history as the first Black general manager in CFL history. His tenure with the Rough Riders from 1999 to 2006 saw him transform a struggling team into a playoff contender. Roy assembled teams that included future Grey Cup winners and stars such as Kerry Joseph and Darian Durant. He also formed the first Black GM and head coach tandem with Danny Barrett. Roy's legacy in football extends beyond Saskatchewan, having shaped the careers of countless players across the CFL. Tonight, we celebrate his leadership, vision, and lasting impact. Please welcome your first inductee, Roy Shivers.
Bring 'em out, 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 bring 'em.
Our second inductee is a two-time Grey Cup champion. He led the Rough Riders to their historic 2013 Grey Cup win at Mosaic Stadium. Over his decade-long career, the team he guided through to 3 Grey Cup appearances and set records for both passing and rushing, earning him a permanent place in Rider history. He's the all-time leader in quarterback rushing yards and created countless memorable moments for Rider fans. His commitment to excellence and passion for the game have forever endeared him to fans across Saskatchewan. Please welcome your second inductee, Darian Durant.
Oh my gosh, was surprised we got Roy telling stories behind us already here. Well, one more time, we are going to let you guys clap it off for these guys before they get seated here. So thanks so much, guys.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's great to see everyone here tonight at the beautiful Connexus Arts Center as we gather to celebrate the 2024 SaskTel Plaza of Honor inductees. Roy and Darian have truly helped shape the history of the Saskatchewan Roughriders through their own respective contributions and achievements. We want to acknowledge that due to a family illness, Steve Molnar posthumous induction will be celebrated next year. My name's Dave Thomas, a proud member of the Harvard media team and your voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. So, good evening.
Yeah, if you can't tell by that voice that he's the voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. I'm Britt Dort. I'm the short girl that wears pink on the sidelines for TSN. Before we get into things, so thanks, y'all. I do want to acknowledge, though, that our celebration this evening is located on Treaty 4 territory, the ancestral lands of the Cree, Saulteaux, Dakota, and Lakota nations, and the homeland of the Métis. Now, tonight we all get to celebrate their impact while also having the exclusive opportunity to hear about their own journeys to greatness, which of course has landed them a spot in the Plaza of Honor. Now, earlier today, I was on a meeting with one of my colleagues, Glenn Suter, who's sitting right there, also former Saskatchewan Roughrider, and he was talking to Corey Mace, and he said, what was the toughest thing about playing against Darian Durant? And he said, no matter how hard you hit him, he always got back up. And I just loved that because, too, one of the first things when you bring up Roy Shivers is the toughness that he brought to Saskatchewan. It was something he instilled in the teams that he created, so I think it works well together.
All right, now in addition to honoring our inductees, the SaskTel Plaza of Honor Gala is also the premier event of the Saskatchewan Roughrider Foundation. The foundation's mission is to empower our province's youth and strive to ensure that our community programs benefit all kids in the province so that they can grow up to reach their full potential, become leaders in their own communities, and ultimately help build a better Saskatchewan.
Now, each organization that has purchased a table here tonight will be making an impact on the youth in Saskatchewan. Later this evening, you'll learn more about that impact from the Foundation's Executive Director, Cindy Fuchs. Now, the Rough Rider Foundation would like to extend a special thank you to the title partner of the gala, SaskTel, as well to the two presenting sponsors, AGT Foods and WCPD. These three organizations' continued support of this evening has been and continues to be crucial in helping honor our inductees while also raising money for the children of our province.
We would like to invite SaskTel 5G President and CEO Charlene Gavel to the stage to bring greetings on behalf of our title sponsor. Charlene Gavel became SaskTel's President and CEO on August 3rd, 2023. My wedding anniversary. Please write that down because I pointed it out. After serving 9 years as its Chief Financial Officer, she has held senior roles at SaskTel International, Regina Qu'Appelle Health Region, and Information Services Corporation. Charlene holds a business administration degree from the University of Regina, is a chartered professional accountant, and holds an Institute of Corporate Directors designation. Charlene is very involved in the community and is currently a board member on the boards of SaskTel International, Connexus Arts Centre, and Hospitals of Regina Foundation. Ladies and gentlemen, Charlene Gavel.
Good evening, everyone. It is truly an honor to be here tonight. Before I begin, I would like to take a moment to respectfully acknowledge that in the City of Regina, we are in Treaty 4 territory, the traditional territory of numerous First Nations, including Nehiyawak and Anishinaabe, Dakota, Nakota, Lakota, and the homeland of the Métis Nation. We pay our respect to the First Nation and Métis ancestors and recognize their histories, culture, and tremendous contributions to our province. So for decades, SaskTel has been a very proud sponsor of the Plaza of Honor and the Saskatchewan Roughriders, of course. The Plaza continues to improve the quality of life in our province by supporting youth in areas like education, health, and amateur sports. This event is a very important fundraiser for the Saskatchewan Rough Rider Foundation. And I want to thank all of you for coming tonight and for the contributions that you make. Without your incredible support, the Foundation's mission, which is to empower our province's youth and communities, would not be possible. We at SaskTel recognize the important role that the Rough Rider organization has played in connecting Saskatchewan residents throughout their long and storied history. Whether fans and supporters are connecting with each other, in the stands at Mosaic Stadium, or during a fundraiser, this football team has fostered an incredible sense of community across this great province. Similarly, we at SaskTel are very firmly committed to connecting our customers in the latest advancements in communications technologies. With our 5G and Infinite networks, our customers all across Saskatchewan can connect to what matters most to them, whether that be friends, family, work, or of course their favorite football team, the Riders. This football club has a powerful way of bringing people together for a common cause, and nowhere is it more obvious than a night like tonight. This year's inductees to the Plaza of Honor include two-time Grey Cup winner Darian Durant and former Riders General Manager Roy Shivers. These men exemplified what it meant to be a Saskatchewan Rough Rider and have immensely added value to the organization's legacy. On behalf of SaskTel, I extend my sincere congratulations to each of the honorees and their families. Thank you all, and please enjoy the rest of your evening.
Tonight, we'd like to take a moment to remember Jim Hopson, a cherished member of the Rough Rider family who passed away this April. Jim's remarkable journey with the Riders began as a player, and he later served as president and CEO from 2005 to 2014, helping to lead the team to two Grey Cup victories. Jim was not only a leader for the football club, but also a dear friend of the foundation. In his memory, Jim's family listed the Rough Rider Foundation as one of 3 charities to honor him in lieu of flowers. Reflecting his enduring commitment to our community, tonight we honor Mr. Jim Hopson and his legacy.
And before we break for dinner, we actually want to acknowledge the following individuals that are here with us tonight. The Saskatchewan Rough Rider Foundation Board of Directors, Chris Getzlaff, Zeba Ahmed, Kent Paul, Craig Reynolds, and Foundation Executive Director, Cindy Fuchs. As well, we want to say a special thank you to the co-chairs of the Plaza Planning Committee, Murad and Michelle Al-Khatib. Without their leadership, none of this evening would be possible. And last but certainly not least, the Planning Committee itself, Sarah, Sabine, Caleb, Karina, Marnie, Allison, and John. They have put in a lot of work to put on tonight. We know you'll enjoy the delicious meal about to be placed before you, and tonight's program will continue in just a little while. So in the meantime, enjoy your dinner.
Alrighty, folks. How about joining me in a round of applause for the great crew here at the Connexus Arts Center for helping us with a fantastic meal tonight. And maybe just by round of applause, what do you think of the dessert tonight? Good?
Milligan liked it.
See, that's an MOP kind of dessert. Roland Milligan Jr. is all about that. The dessert tonight, by the way, was the choice of Darian Durant, a Saskatoon berry cheesecake. So Darian picked dessert tonight. There you go.
Yeah. You can take the guy out of Saskatchewan. You can't take Saskatchewan out of the guy.
That's all right. This is the 4th year that the Plaza of Honor Gala has been a key fundraising event for the Saskatchewan Rough Rider Foundation. Some of you may be familiar that in years past, all the proceeds from this evening's gala went to the Foundation's Win with Wellness presentation series, presented by Connexus, which brings trained player ambassadors into schools to promote the discussion and the importance of mental wellness for youth.
These presentations continue to reach children across the province, so please turn your attention to the screen to see the impact these presentations have had on kids, which will be followed by Saskatchewan Rough Rider Foundation's Executive Director, Cindy Fuchs, to share more about the continued growth of the foundation.
Sometimes listening to an athlete or somebody come in that they maybe look up to, maybe just listen a little bit closer. I know when I was a student, in those situations you probably listen a little bit better than something that your teacher tells you. So yeah, just a little change of voice that they would hear that from. And then also for them to understand that, hey, professional athletes go through situations too. We deal with stress, we deal with anxiety and things like that.
I learned lots that stress is okay. Usually I think stress is not a good thing because it can make you play worse. Like in hockey, it can make you play worse, but today I learned from Mitch that if you're stressed, it can help motivate you so you can do better in that game instead of just thinking it's always bad.
This is probably the #1 thing that, I realized I should have done a better job, especially at that stage. I used to bottle a lot of stuff.
I think for sure just trying to be relatable to the kids, knowing that no matter what's going on, they're never alone.
We see a lot of value in supporting the program. It's focused on our youth, which is the future of our province, and especially as adolescents are coming up in an environment of a very digitized world, it can be very isolating, and those demands to fit in and the peer pressure is just more heightened. And our ability to help kids normalize that it's okay to be going through anxiety and any kind of fears and to vocalize it isn't important. So we want them to make sure that they're not alone and that they can reach out.
I would like for every child in this province to have this presentation at an age when they're young, when they're in the middle of their school journey, and then when they're at an age where they could be, or when I've seen most of the kids start to struggle more, so that by the time they get to the point where they're struggling, they've actually have the tools and they're automatic, that they know that what they should do, they know how to reach out to get the help that they need, instead of getting to a point where they don't see any options but a permanent solution to a temporary problem.
I want to start by saying thank you, Michelle, for that powerful message. You couldn't have said it better. She said, I didn't do very good. It's like, well, we couldn't have paid you to say that. The Ryder Foundation just celebrated its 5th year in existence. It feels like I was offered this amazing job just yesterday. I'm forever grateful to Kent Paul, Craig Reynolds, and the Football Club Board of Directors who made the bold decision to create a charitable arm in the CFL. Giving back to youth in this province is fun and it's impactful. A huge shout out to all the corporate partners and donors in this room, and there's a lot of them, that not only support this plaza, SaskTel Plaza of Honor, but have also teamed up with the foundation to support our programs, our lottery, our 50-50, the Winter Classic hockey game, and our Game Changers campaign for mental wellness and literacy. Without this ongoing support, we would not be making the difference and the impact we have had in the past 5 years, so thank you. Our foundation has 3 distinct pillars. Amateur football. Last year, we were able to give back $1.2 million, which is pre-foundation, over $800,000 more than pre-foundation, to football in this province. Last week, and it feels like a month or 2 or 3 ago, we hosted 220 kids from the Northern Saskatchewan Football League, which the foundation supports. There was huge smiles, experiences of a lifetime. They all went home with new Ryder pajama pants. And there was only 2 incidences. One was the hotel. They flooded the pool because 50 of them were doing cannonballs at the same time. And 2, one forgot to catch the snap and got a nosebleed. That was it, with 220 kids. This is what the impact of your donation does. Our goal over the next few years is to provide helmet replacement to minor football to make all our kids more safe and the opportunity to play football all over the province. At the same time, we'll continue our support to our elite teams like the Rams, President Ketchum. We're going to keep supporting you. And the Thunder, Murad, no worries, we gotcha. Football Sask, and all the minor football clubs across the province, as well as the Hilltops, Thunder, and our female leagues. As you heard from Michelle in the video, our players like Peter and Mitch, Peter wave, Mitch, you're here, are providing, yeah, thank you. Are providing tools to our youth so the choices they make when stressed is not a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Thanks, Michelle, for that quote. I'll never stop using it. This is our mental wellness and our health pillar. Over $200,000 also was given to other Ministry of Education-aligned organizations such as Kids Help Phone and Psychology Association of Canada from the foundation. Well over 20,000 kids were reached and hundreds of teacher testimonials. Every day during the off-season, we'll get 3 or 4 emails that's saying thank you for the impact. Our evaluation partner, the University of Regina, after our first year of feedback, and the most profound thing they found in the evaluation was that teachers didn't know it was free. So thank you for being here tonight and for supporting us so we can remain, this program can be free to our classrooms across the province. As many teachers have told us that if a pro athlete can share about his mental health in front of a classroom, it feels okay for kids to share the same. I want to tell you a quick story about this. One of our Ryder trainers, Craig Reynolds, you remember this story, you shared it with me, that worked with the club, is also a grade 9 teacher. She went back to the classroom for grade 9 and she asked the kids that were coming from grade 8, what was your most impactful moment in your life so far? And that kid, one kid, put up his hand and he said, when one of the riders came and talked to me about mental health. That's impact. Our third pillar is education, and really we're honing in on literacy. Did you know that Saskatchewan has the 3rd lowest literacy rates in Canada? And if a child is not reading at a grade 3 level, by grade 3, their chance of graduating is reduced by 40%. It's not okay. Our players, including Peter and Mitch, again, and others here tonight, hopefully will stay here in the off-season in the cold -40 winter. Those of you players that are here, remember, this is really important, have shown kids in grade K to 4 that reading is cool, and that even football players need to be able to read the playbook. Last week, the Rider Foundation, in partnership with First Books Canada and the Jays Foundation, provided over 50,000 books, that's 50,000 books, to teachers from all over Saskatchewan, free. Many teachers, when I went and talked to them, said they described the experience as better than Christmas. This summer, Kids Through Saskatchewan Libraries clocked over 400,000 hours of reading for the Summer Rider Reading Challenge, and all for just a couple of game tickets. With your support, we can help you thrive and have the tools in both mental health and literacy to lead our world in the future. The Rider Reading Program showed some students that there is importance in reading, of course. See for yourself from this video how important reading really is to football.
Double right, scat, right, double, cowboy on 2.
Double right, scat, right, double, cowboy on 2.
Trey right, closer, karate, can 12, duo, alert, on 1. They right, closer, care right, can 12, duo, alert, on 1.
Double wing, left run, pass 98. Willie zebra, quick post on go.
Double wing, left run, pass 98. Willie zebra, quick post on go.
Did I say some word wrong?
Who knows? I don't know.
Is that supposed to be zebra or zebra?
Well, zebra, however you say it.
Zebra or zebra?
So let's get to the moment we've all been waiting for, though. Since 1987, the Plaza of Honor has celebrated the contributions of Rough Rider legends. Tonight, we proudly induct 2 remarkable individuals. So our first inductee, Roy Shivers, as Corey Mace warmed him up, broke barriers as the CFL's first Black general manager. During his time with the Rough Riders, he recruited and developed some of the team's greatest players. Roy's visionary leadership built teams that became perennial playoff contenders, and his contributions to the game earned him a place in the Canadian Football Hall of Fame in 2022. So please turn your attention to the screen for Roy's induction video.
It's only week 4 on Adidas Friday Night Football, but the Rough Riders are near desperate for a win after 3 straight losses. Fans in Saskatchewan a little restless.
And this is a group of football fans you don't want to get restless. They get ornery.
The 1990 season was not especially memorable. The Riders were 3-15, did not win a game beyond Labor Day, and were playing on turf that would not even be acceptable for someone's backyard deck. And that's what Roy Shivers walked into when he was introduced as the Rough Riders general manager on December 23rd, 1999. A franchise that was in a real tough state financially. Performance-wise, 3-15. So the Rough Riders really weren't a draw for anybody. And then enter Roy Shivers.
We've got a good football team now. We got their fan backing. We're not going to be the poor little guy on the block again that just lets you walk all over us and stuff. We're going to compete with you, and we're going to beat you.
Suddenly, Saskatchewan became a destination. It helped that new turf was installed. But what also helped was Roy Shivers' connections and the desire of so many players to play, for Roy Shivers and for Danny Barrett. Suddenly you have those signings and they transmit a message, and some of the Riders are playing exciting football. They didn't win that often in Roy's first year, but you could see the talent that he brought in. And so many tremendous football players. That pipeline just seemed to be endless. And that just helped so much in painstakingly rebuilding the Rough Riders to the point where they were a formidable opponent for the majority of Roy Shivers and Danny Barrett's time here. They didn't have that big victory, but they set the table for so much that followed. And they changed the culture, and they made Saskatchewan a place where players wanted to come. Just transmitted the message that things are different here now. And they wouldn't have been different if not for Roy Shivers.
Hey, Henry, you throw through lanes. Throw through lanes sometime. Through lanes.
Roy could find talent, and he could find obscure talent. And Roy had connections, but he just wasn't one to rely on them. He said so many times that I trust my own eyes. He wasn't even a big guy as far as let's watch film, let's watch video. And there wasn't as much of it then as there is now, but he trusted his instincts and had absolute faith in his judgment, and for good reason. He's in the Canadian Football Hall of Fame because he did that so well. But he could get a read on a player so quickly. You know, very early in Roy's tenure, Henry Burris signed here, future Hall of Famer. Quarterbacking issue resolved. Demetrius Maxey, a very talented defensive lineman, signed here. You got to remember that Kenton Keith joined the Rough Riders during the Roy Shivers years, and I have never seen a more spectacular running back wearing green and white than Kenton Keith. And that was a Roy Shivers find. And there were just so many of them. I look at that 2004 team, it just had so much talent. And a lot of those players remained with the Rough Riders beyond the tenures of Roy Shivers and Danny Barrett, and helped the Rough Riders. You look at the 2007 team that won a Grey Cup and teams beyond, and there's Roy Shivers' impact all over. They didn't win a Grey Cup when Roy was here, but they don't win a Grey Cup if Roy hadn't been here. And I think that's a really important consideration.
2nd and 7. Joseph has time, looking downfield, jump ball to Dominguez, touchdown!
I think you'd be hard pressed, and I don't think I'm overstating this, to think of a trade that is any better than the one Roy Shivers made to bring not only Kerry Joseph but Darian Durant to Saskatchewan. In one trade, in a matter of minutes, 2 future Grey Cup winning quarterbacks. One of them would be named the league's most outstanding player. I just can't think of many trades throughout the spectrum of sports that changed a franchise as much as Roy Shivers acquiring Kerry Joseph and Darian Durant. Absolute genius. And are we sitting here if not for that trade? I think that's a very good question.
I would like to introduce our new head football coach, Danny Barrett. We never get these chances. I'm in a position where I could finally do it. We've never been in a position where we could do it. What other black general managers in the NFL do you know?
Well, there's so much historical significance and relevance to what happened here during the Roy Shivers, Danny Barrett years. And Roy Shivers and Danny Barrett were the first black general manager, head coach combination in professional football history. And that is so huge. Now we're at the point where if there's a black head coach or a black general manager, it's very seldom mentioned, if it's mentioned at all. And that's perfect. There's still steps to be taken, but the fact that there's a black head coach or a black GM is really not the first thing that is part of the conversation. But that doesn't happen if not for Roy Shivers becoming the Rough Rider general manager and then hiring Danny Barrett shortly thereafter. And Roy said several times that his father told him, if you get that opportunity, make sure you bring somebody with you. And he felt that obligation, he felt that duty. And it was so laudable and so overdue for not only Roy Shivers to become a general manager in the Canadian Football League, but for the black head coach, general manager combination. Now we're at the point where you look around the Canadian Football League, and the Rough Riders won a Grey Cup in 2013 with Corey Chamberlain, a black head coach. Things have changed a lot in Canadian football and professional football, and Roy Shivers was one of the integral individuals as far as that process unfolding. And that's, you can't tell the story of Roy Shivers without telling the story of the degree to which he fostered progress, long overdue progress. There's still progress to be made, But thanks to Roy Shivers, we've come a long way. If you subtract wins and losses and you just look beyond the personnel decisions that he made, you look beyond, I think, how he made the Rough Riders a relevant franchise, a factor. I think what you also have to consider is the way he dealt with people. Here's somebody who had no real association with Saskatchewan before he got here, yet he really took an interest in the people here. And I think it's a side of Roy Shivers that maybe didn't get enough attention, doesn't get enough attention, doesn't get the recognition it deserves. But I think Roy dealt with a lot of people on a one-to-one basis in a way that will be remembered so fondly and for such a length of time. And when I think of the Roy Shivers years, I think of him holding court with the Railbirds and answering all their questions and having a few laughs and wondering, hey, how's your dad? That to me captures Roy Shivers as well. As time elapses, I think you can put events into context more. In a lot of cases in the football business, things don't end the way you script them. History has been so kind to Roy Shivers, and Roy Shivers was certainly kind to the Saskatchewan Roughriders because of the role that he played in its history. And I'm so glad that he is receiving due acknowledgement of what he did here. He was and still is a fascinating guy. He's a documentary, he's a book, he's a legend. He's so much beyond Roy Shivers, general manager.
I want to be a winner. And I want to be a guy that tried to do what was right. My legacy would read, well, I like this Frank Sinatra thing. He did it his way. He did it his way, and I'm in that sphere right now where, hey, I tried to do it like it's supposed to be done. And it's about winning and treating people fairly. And that's what I want to be. Hey, he tried to win, he tried to treat people fairly.
Well, please help me welcome Roy Shivers to the stage.
That's what happens to you when you get old, see? Hey, it's a pleasure and honor for me to be here tonight. I've seen a lot of friends, a lot of people that helped me along the way, and I'm a proud Saskatchewan Rough Rider booster. And I love your head coach. And I couldn't say that before. I'm gonna pull who was that came up here and stayed for 40 minutes? Schultz. So I think I can break his record. Where's Tom Shepard at? Oh, you gotta be me. My biggest antagonist. Hey, but like I said, I'm proud to be here and I'm happy to be here. I've had 4 knee operations, 2 replacements, a back operation, a shoulder operation. Don't let your kids grow up to be football players. My father tried to tell me to learn how to hit the curveball, and I wouldn't listen, So here I am walking with a cane. But I'd like to thank some people. When I got here, I didn't know where I was. And it stormed the night I came here for the interview. Who was on the board then that came to that meeting we had? Unbelievable, Tom Robinson. Unbelievable. The snow was, and we went to an office, and I was like, what the hell is going on here? But I'd like to thank some people that when I was here, they were good people. They treated me well, they helped me out, and I really, really enjoyed them. And there were some people, like Tom Shepard, I couldn't stand. I'm just kidding, Tom. His daughter made him apologize to me, too. Thank you. I'd like to mention some people that I'd like to thank for helping me along the way when I was here, and I'm going to run through these names right quick. I wish my friend and my assistant general manager here, Bobby V, he passed away about 10 years ago. He was my right-hand man. And where is Glenn Suter in here? He was going to kick your ass one day. Suter made a remark about the Italians didn't know what side they were on in World War II. And all of a sudden I see Bobby, I'm going to kill that bitch, you know what I mean? But I wish he would have been here for tonight. He enjoyed it. I'd like to thank Tony Plater, who probably helped me more than anything anybody when I was here. Because I'd say, hey, Tony Plater, would you write this up for me? And pretend like I made it up and stuff, you know. Make all the commas and the quotations. He helped me out a lot. Cheryl's right-hand lady in the office. I'd like to thank her. Gail was in charge of the tickets, you know. Carol was in the ticket office. Trent Frazier did a marvelous job after he and Danny and I had a long discussion about your value. You know. After we got that clear, he did a hell of a job for us. Jennifer, I still want my $400 back for the Rolling Stones concert. I didn't go when I was here. Liz in the store treated us real well. She took and made a lot of money for the riders to keep us going back then. She sold some stuff that was about 40 years old. Her and Normie Quam. Bobby Catan was my secretary, and I love her still. I talk to her every week just about, and she named a damn black cat after me. She showed me a picture, you know, and I can't stand cats. You know. Ryan Whippler, Blair Watson. When I first got here, I thought Blair was the worst guy in the world. When I left here, had no problems with him. He did all the financial stuff, helped us out immensely. Normie Fong, one of a kind. I love Norm, and I hope he's well, and I hope he's doing well. Ivan, you're a cheap ass around here somewhere, aren't you? Ivan Goodfried, the trainer. When I had my operation, I came back, and Ivan worked with me every day. I had a knee replacement here up in Saskatoon. He worked with me every day. I was in there looking at Young and the Restless and The Bold and the Beautiful, you know. Danny Barrett, I wish he was here. Danny was probably one of the smartest guys I've ever met in terms of football, business-wise. You know, I relied on him for everything. You know, he and I would combine on everything. Richie Hall, the only man that still calls me Mr. Shivers today. I said, Richie, my name is Roy. Mr. Shivers. I'm like, okay. Alex Smith, Grumpy. Tim Kears, the receiver coach. Marcel Belfay, Frenchman. Harold Smith. We had a combination of everybody. My board members. I'd like to thank Paul Hill. He was always fair with me. It's always fair with me. And I'm Bob Ellert. He's not here, but I'm still waiting on that money that he was going to pay that we gave a bonus to Mike Sanders. He never showed up. Tom Robinson told me one day, Roy, you backed the wrong horse when they picked the new president. Rob Flesh, thank you. Sue Barber, Dougie Rogers, Ron Clark. I think Ron is in Saskatchewan, up in Regina? Saskatoon, yeah. and the one and only Tom Shepard. I'd like to thank Corey. You know, you guys, I'm rooting for you, man. I never rooted for him before. When Tillman was here, never rooted for him before. Again, I'd like to thank you, and hey, I'm still the same guy. I had a great time while I was here. I loved Regina. I had a great time, and people still, you know, stop me. And I got a couple of friends that come down from Regina now that come to Vegas to gamble every week. But I haven't mellowed in my old age. But I'd like to thank everybody. I had a great time when I was here. You know, I like the back and forth and who did what and who liked who and who didn't like who. Let me tell you this one story. When I first came here, I knew I was in trouble. So Bobby V and I are in the office one day. So we were looking at the salaries that people made on the football team, you know. And I'm looking at it, and I see this one big salary, and I'm thinking it's the quarterback or somebody. It's Andrew Green. And I'm like, who? He makes more than anybody on it. I called, what's the old coach? Was that Winnipeg? Cal Murphy. I said, Cal, did you sign Andrew Green to this? Yeah, Roy, you know, such and I'm like, okay. So Daddy and I sat there and we said, are we going to pay him all this money? He's making more than anybody on the team. Quarterback, everybody. So Bobby V and Daddy and I, we sat down. So I said, well, I'll talk to Andrew. We'll tell him what the deal is and everything, you know. So we'll call Andrew in. Plus, the first time, you know, when I first heard about him, I didn't know he was black. You know, because I'd never seen a black offensive lineman in Canada then, you know. So Andrew comes in, I'm sitting there, and Bobby V is sitting over here, and Tony is over here, and I got a 3-iron in my hand. And Bobby V had a 3-iron in his hand. I said, now, if he tries to come over to his desk, I got something for him and everything, you know. So we called him in. I said, Andrew, love you to death. Glad you got the salary, but as long as I'm here, you'll never make a dime over what you're making now, you know. And so Bobby V gets up. He said, I got to go to the bathroom. I said, well, go ahead. So we sat there, Andrew and I and Tony, and we sat there, you know, going back and forth. And I'm like, where in the hell is Bob at? Never came back. Never came back. I don't know what your schedule is. Like I said, I haven't seen but 2 games, I think, this year. TV is so bad down there. They cut it off, bring it on, cut it off, and stuff like that. So I don't know what the schedule is. I think I've seen 2 games. I've seen Edmonton one time. I saw BC, the last game that the little quarterback played before they brought the other one back. But Paul Hill, love flying on your private jet. You and your wife were wonderful. Mm-hmm. Like I said, you know, I had some problems here, you know, and like I say, Tom Shepard, I think he raised a lot of money for this ball club. Raised a lot of money for it. With that, what was it, where he had it for 2 nights in a row at the old stadium and stuff, yeah. But when his daughter made him apologize to me, I loved it, you know. They put him out of the restaurant at, what was that, it was at the Mirage. He comes in with a pair of shorts on in the steakhouse. So he said, you can't come in. Yeah. He said, what? He said, yeah, you got shorts on. So he said, Roy, you got to take him to get a pair of shorts. So I take him into the clubhouse, the store at the Mirage. And I think the slacks cost what they cost, about $200. So you got to buy them on the spot before you go in the restaurant. Yeah, it's good for you. You're in Vegas now, not Regina. You know. Hey, look, I don't want to take too much of your time, but again, Corey, give him, you know, and I like you, man, and I've met you a couple of times. And I hope to come back again and see you guys. I hope to see you in the playoffs, you know. If you do, I guess I'll come back up if I can get Carl Fix them. You set it up, Corey. You said I was going to swear. See? Carl Fix, right? Make the playoffs. You going to bring me up for your rugby team? Paul Hill, when you come back to Vegas, give me a shout. Give me a shout. Love to see you. Tom, enjoyed it. Enjoyed it. And again, my thanks to everybody. Hey, you got a wonderful organization. Whoever put this on has done a wonderful job. Excellent job. For a good, good cause. And I thank you very much for treating me nice when I was here. God bless you.
Once again, let's hear it for Roy Shivers. We also know why none of his players wanted to go golfing with him, so there we go. Our second inductee tonight is Darian Durant. Needs no introduction to Rider fans, as the quarterback who led the Rough Riders to their iconic 2013 Grey Cup victory at home. Darian captured the heart of Rider Nation. He threw for more than 5,500 yards in 2010, led the team to 3 Grey Cup appearances, and set records that still stand today. Please join us in welcoming Darian Durant as we turn our attention to the screen for Darian's induction video.
What's up, Rider Nation? How y'all doing today? What we hit the field like, all day like, all night like, bring the white like, offense like, defense like, hit squad like, house call like, and it's all like, and it's all like, and it's all like. I remember when we came back from Calgary in 2009, and I told you guys that we'd be playing for plenty of Grey Cups ahead. And I made that promise to you, and now I'm so glad to help, with the help of my guys, to finally bring that Grey Cup right back here to Saskatchewan where it belongs. Hey, let's go, baby. From the start, let's send it going right away. They don't deserve to be on the field with us, man. Let's go. Let's show the whole world what we're about tonight, baby. And leave here champ. All right? Champs on 3. 1, 2, 3. Champ. Let's go.
First down at the 30. A lot of steal marks. He's going to take a shot. Looking downfield. Weston Russell. Touchdown. Dream is still alive in Saskatchewan.
You know, 3 Grey Cup appearances and so many successes, and that was reflected in success at the gate, success financially. I don't think it's preposterous one bit to suggest if it's not for Darian Durant in that era, we're not doing this interview at this venue. We might be doing it a few blocks away at the Taylor Field site and interrupting the interview to kind of catch a mouse or something. I mean, that's how important that era was, you know, starting in 2007. 2007 to 2013, it was I think it was the second sort of glory years era in Rider history. There's the Ronnie and George era, and then there's the Darian Durant era, the era beginning with Kerry Joseph, and again, Roy Shivers being such a catalyst. But everything happening in the early 2000s leading to the culmination with the home field Grey Cup victory in 2013, 1 year and a bit after it was announced that a new stadium would be built. And so much happened over those number of years, and the starting quarterback for most of that time was Darian Durant.
All a commitment to Darian Durant to increase not only his individual numbers, but more so the team mission of winning the Grey Cup.
That BC game, I can tell you this, you know, I can remember
I can remember being on the microphone with Richie. It was like, man, we got to get this done. You know, we have to get this done. You know, the magnitude of it. And that was from the defensive side doing some things. But the biggest thing is, you know, Darian had been a running quarterback early in his career. And, you know, Darian was very conscious of being in the pocket. But Darian took that game over with his legs. You know, he went back to that old Darian. He channeled that. That was all Darian in terms of him just saying, hey, you know, you talk about all in and everybody using all the gifts and talents that God has given them. Darian took over, you know, and they weren't ready for that. And I think that was the biggest thing is, you know, it wasn't scheme. It wasn't anything like that. Is they didn't have a plan for it because we didn't plan for it.
Darian was just like, hey, put us all in his backpack, right? It was just like, all right, let's go. And he found something, and they exploited that defense. You know, he dropped back, and big wide is just wide open. He take off, slide, okay, line it back up, let's go. Drop back, take off, you know, drop back, Dressler. You know, I mean, it was beautiful to watch. Like, most of the time, the DBs, defense, we're pretty much sitting on the bench like, all right, we talking about what we're gonna do? Nah, we're standing up like we're all fans in this moment, right? So that was awesome, man. And when we put that together, we knew from that point, we had a very, very special group to overcome that in that moment.
It took so much mental toughness for Darian Durant and his teammates to do what they did. 2009, go to the Grey Cup, and that was such a heartbreaker. 2010, return to the Grey Cup, lose by 3 points. A really tough season in 2011. And then the 2012 West Division semifinal, Darian threw 4 touchdown passes, put up 438 yards in Calgary, but Calgary scored a last-minute touchdown. And that was a real heartbreaker as well. So you look at 3 out of 4 years, the Riders have lost a really tough, had a really tough playoff loss. And you could say that it sort of builds mental toughness, but if you don't have that within you from the outset, I think that's an issue. And the strength that Darian and his teammates showed in order to persevere.
It means so much, man. It's so hard to put it into words. All that we've been through as a team, the change, the turnover, I mean, you name it, man. This organization has been through a lot, and I'm just so proud of everybody. I'm just happy that Brendan and J.O., they stuck with me throughout this ride, man, and we deserve it, Rider Nation. We're coming home to get it. It's all about winning. I'm not worried about the headlines or the storylines or whatever. We'll leave that up to the media. It's all about winning, man. We've been here one too many times. It's time for us to capitalize on our own field. That's the goal, and you know, that's what it's all about, man. Playing the Grey Cup at home.
Thanks for this, Darian.
All right, man. Thank you.
Darian Durant beat the Calgary Stampeders.
The quarterback position is obviously the most important one, or one of the ones, and I would still say it is because it's the quarterback. So when Corey got hired, Darian was the guy here, obviously, and we continued and evaluated him before we played in 12 and decided obviously he was the guy we're going to go with. The more we got to work with Darian, the more we knew he was going to be the guy that carries us how far we're ever going to go for the next few years. And Darian's an interesting guy. You have to put and make sure he has trust in you and faith in you, from a GM to a coach to a coordinator, whoever you are. And we had to build that up, and we did. And me and Corey specifically were honest and truthful with him on what we expected. And he ran with it and took it. And we could have made a change. We could have brought in somebody, who knows who that would have been, whatever. We never really went there because we thought he was our guy and we knew he was our guy.
Darian Durant, the moment we saw him last year in his first game, you could see he was a natural leader. He's one of only 2 quarterbacks in CFL history to get his team to the Grey Cup in his first 2 years as a starter.
You look at those years and how much fun they were, and the emotional extremes, the absolute devastation of 2009, juxtaposed or contrasted with the excitement of 2013. But that ride over those years with Darian Durant behind center for the vast majority of those games, that's just a sweet memory. And you see the highlights, and we're celebrating all of those accomplishments today and this weekend. But they all accumulate, and it's just overall, it's this terrific feeling.
Ladies and gentlemen, Corey Chamberlain and the West Division champion, Saskatchewan Roughriders.
In many ways is once in a lifetime. We'll never have that chance to see the Riders win a Grey Cup at Old Taylor Field again. That was the final opportunity to do it. And the Riders cashed in massively that day. But even when the stadium was empty, there was still some rejoicing to be done, and Darian was part of that. And he created so much for this fan base, this province, this team, and I'm so glad that the Plaza of Honor induction has come to be, because there's nobody who could be more deserving of this.
It's more than a vision, it was a dream. I dreamt it, and I could hear Chris saying, and the Saskatchewan Roughriders are your 2013 Grey Cup champions.
In this game, the West semifinal. Now Darian Durant again, all by himself. Up Main Street, Durant inside the 15 down to the 10-yard line. So, just when we thought that Corey Sheets would be the weapon on the ground, it's Darian Durant himself.
Well, we talked about it with Travis Boulay earlier. Same goes for Darian Durant. This time of year, you do whatever it takes to buy yourself another week. And Darian Durant, on this drive, a couple of huge runs, putting this team on his back, making a play.
Make sure there's no doubt. Into the corner, Dressler.
Gentlemen, number 4, Darian Durant.
Thank you, thank you. Man, I told myself I wasn't going to shed a tear, but this is tough. This is tough. 1 second. Got to take a deep breath here. First and foremost, I just want to thank the Plaza Committee, sponsors, SaskTel, everyone involved with this amazing evening, all the festivities this weekend. It's going to be amazing. And this amazing organization. So thank you for this amazing night. Mom, as I sit here now with 3 kids of my own, I truly understand the sacrifices it takes as a parent. Your commitment to us, not only athletically, but educationally, helped mold me into the young man I am today. Taking me to practice after your long days of work, games, banquets, traveling all across the state. You did it all. Leaving home at 17 is never easy, but with your guidance and preparation, it was an easy transition for me. So thank you, I love you. To my dad, who couldn't make it tonight because he's back in South Carolina taking care of my grandmother. You've always been there, Pops. Where we come from, you know, when your parents get divorced, a lot of fathers, they kind of abandon their children, and my dad never did that. The confidence he gave me that I could succeed no matter what. I'm a 5'10" quarterback, and, you know, as you know, most of us that size don't make it. But my dad was always in my ear saying, son, you're so much better than you give yourself credit for. Don't ever doubt yourself or your abilities. And that confidence has led me to just unbelievable heights in my life. So thank you, Dad, for always instilling that confidence in me. To my younger brother, Justin, who couldn't make it tonight, I always remember when we would sit in our room and we would say, We never wanted to live in our hometown of Florence, South Carolina, that we will always make it out. We dreamed big. We never wanted to settle for less. And, you know, the conversations that we had pushed me to do well in school and to make it, even if it wasn't in sports. Justin always knew that my dream was to make it to the NFL. But when that wasn't possible, I was able to live my dream of an NFL life through my brother. So I want to thank you, Justin, for not just never making it seem awkward and, you know, just helping me live my dream through you. So thanks, JD. To my older brother, Keyshawn, I hate to sit up here and talk about his mistakes, but his mistakes were all learning lessons for me. My brother Keyshawn was the best athlete in our family. Everyone in our town knew that he would be the next one to make it to the NFL. But unfortunately, when he got to college, temptation and the freedom that college presents, it took over. I remember how devastated my mom was when we got word that he was expelled from college. Seeing that look on her face was all I needed to make sure that I never made that mistake and that I never made my mom feel that way. When I began my high school career, he was my biggest supporter. I knew that he could see himself in me, and everything I did in high school, I wanted to make my big brother proud. Well, I hope this night makes you proud, big bro, because you were my biggest motivation. To my brother Jeff, I call you my brother because in my heart, that's what you are. You've been there since the beginning. Who would have thought that I'd be in your wedding? Who would have thought that we'd be traveling, going to NFL games together? We share so many good and bad times together, and it's only right I give you your flowers tonight. I don't view you as a guy who only helped me with my social media. I view you as my brother, so thank you. Kelly. From the first time we met, you always treated me like I was your son. You welcomed me into your home. You cooked, cleaned, washed my clothes, you name it. And even though you were employed by the Riders, you never let that affect our relationship. I am forever grateful for your love and support, and even to this day, I refer to you as my mother, so thank you. So, a little bit about me. My journey began in Florence, South Carolina. It's a little small town of about 30,000 people. At the age of 9, I began my football journey, and I wasn't always a quarterback. I started off as a fullback. I was always the biggest kid, and you know, they wanted the biggest kid to have the ball, so they put me at fullback. But I wasn't a good blocker. I could only run the ball. So, as I got older, I continued to be the biggest kid, and that's when everything changed for me. When I got to be 11 years old, I was too heavy to play in the 11 and 12-year-old age range, so I had to sit out an entire football season. But I didn't know that that would be a blessing in disguise, because I would go to my little brother's Justin's football practice and stand on the sidelines, and I would just play catch. So I was able to throw each and every day and just play catch with the kids on the sideline. So when I turned 12, I was able to play with the 13 and 14-year-olds because I was a bigger kid. I made the weight limit, and so I was able to play with older kids, and that's when my quarterback journey began. From there, I met my high school coach, Darryl Page, who was a huge influence on my life and my football career. At the time when I was going to high school, our high school just ran the option offense. 1 wide receiver, 3 running backs, tight ends. But here's this little chubby kid coming in who could throw the football, and the coach was like, wow, maybe we need to change the system up for this kid because he's pretty damn good. So he came to me one day and said, look, we're going to change our offense for you. We're going to put 4 and 5 receivers out there with you, and we're going to see what you can do. You're young, I'm young. Let's see if we can turn this program around and just be this exciting offense. So my 10th and 11th grade years was so good that going into my senior year of high school, I was the #1 quarterback in the state of South Carolina. I received offers from Georgia, Clemson, Alabama, you name it. Everyone in the country was after this little 5'10" quarterback who was throwing the ball 40, 50 times a game. 4 games into my senior season in high school, I broke my ankle. I was just devastated because I knew that I wouldn't be able to play high school ball again, and I just had a feeling that some of these bigger colleges were kind of, lessen their interest in me because of that injury, and that's what happened. But there were 2 schools that stood by me, and that was the University of North Carolina and the University of South Carolina. I want to take this time to thank a couple coaches from the University of North Carolina because they showed just so much loyalty to me throughout my injury, and that's one of the main reasons why I chose to go to the University of North Carolina. Coach Mike O'Kane, who was my offensive coordinator, Coach Ken Browning, who was the recruiting coordinator and defensive line coach, and Coach Carl Torbush, who was the head coach at the University of North Carolina. At the time, Doug Flutie was the only quarterback to play in the NFL that was under 6 feet tall. But my father, once again, in my ear, always told me, you can do it, you can do it. So at the beginning of my senior year of college, my wide receiver coach, Gunnar Brewer, called me into his office. He said, look, I know you have dreams of playing in the NFL, but the odds are stacked against you tremendously. You need to look into the CFL because that's where a lot of undersized quarterbacks go and get an opportunity to showcase their talents. As I did my research, I saw that every play in the CFL, there was 4 and 5 receivers. And I'm like, man, this is what I've been doing since I was 14 years old. Spread offense, I get an opportunity to throw it, maybe a good opportunity for me up there. But following my senior year, I was invited to free agent camp with the Baltimore Ravens. I felt like I had a good opportunity to make the team. I felt like I had a good camp. But Brian Billick called me in his office, and he said, look, you're a damn good quarterback, but you're just too short. Honestly, you would think that that would break me down, but it didn't, because I looked at this as an opportunity. Now I can pursue an opportunity in the CFL when I can really get an opportunity. So after the 2005 season, my agent called Roy Shivers. My agent was out of Atlanta, and he knew the Riders were coming to Atlanta for a free agent workout. The problem was I was on the neg list of the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Roy, being Roy, said, you know what? Bring that little out here. So I went out there illegally and had the best workout of my life. So after that workout, I'm thinking I'm going to hear from Roy, and I didn't. Hamilton didn't call. I got no calls from the CFL. I'm devastated. I felt like I had a hell of a workout. Roy told me to come. My agent was giving me good feedback. Sorry. And I was just devastated. So as I'm sitting at home, I get on the internet one day, and I see the Riders trade Corey Holmes to the Hamilton Tiger Cats for the first overall pick in the dispersal draft and a neg list player that will be mentioned at a later date. Then Roy calls my agent and says, I got that, and he better not be sorry. So Roy, I can finally tell you today, thank you so much for bringing me to Saskatchewan, and I truly wouldn't be standing here if it wasn't for you. Unfortunately, in 2006, Roy was, his tenure ended as I was a rookie, and Eric Tillman took over as the GM. And I have to thank Eric Tillman because he was a huge reason why I stayed here. I was very disgruntled. I felt like, you know, I had an opportunity to play, but Eric wouldn't let me go home, and he told me, you know, just stick around, you'll be fine. So in 2007, we hired a coach by the name of Ken Austin. Now, Ken Austin was one of the brightest offensive minds I'd ever been around. Kent would allow me to have input in meetings on game day. He would allow me to have input if we wanted to go for it on 3rd and 1. Kent just gave me an unbelievable amount of confidence. And it's very rare for a third-string quarterback to have this type of input, but Kent would later label me as one of the smartest quarterbacks he's been around, so I want to thank Kent for that as well. This year, I was also met one of my good friends and fellow Plaza members, Chris Getzlaff. The way we approached practice every day Getz that year on the practice squad, and you having the same competitive drive as me, helped us build so much chemistry and led to our success. I know there are times when I was on you, and I would yell and scream and curse you out and get fired up. You know me. But you never let that affect your attitude, and you understood that it was all about winning. A few years later, when I got my opportunity, along with you, Fantus, Claremont, Bagg, and Dressler, we became the Canadian Air Force. And that led us, of course, into the heartbreaks of 2009 and 10. But, you know, we never looked at that as very tough. We looked at it as lessons. We weren't ready in 2009 and 2010 to be champions. We were still young. We made a lot of mistakes those years. But, you know, it was all learning experiences. 2013 comes. And before I go into a little bit about that season, I want to thank some guys that played a major role in the success of that team and myself. Brendan Taman, Jeremy O'Day, of course, Coach Corey Chamberlain, George Cortez, Kahari Jones, Richie Hall, and Baron Miles. Having so much talent and experience in one room was just awesome. Just being able to pick their brains, them having so much knowledge, it just made that year so special, and the team we put together was just so special. We finally got a chance at another Grey Cup. This time it was at home, and we weren't going to let this opportunity slip by. Besides my touchdown pass to you, Getz, in Calgary, holding the 2013 Grey Cup was the best moment of my life. Very few careers end the way you like, but the ending of that 2013 season was absolutely special. I'd like to thank everyone that was a part of that team. I'd like to start with my equipment staff, with Gordy, Mikey, everyone in that room back there, the ticket office, the media, film crew, cafeteria, everyone that was responsible. We were such a tight-knit group throughout the organization, and I want to thank all of you guys. As I end my speech tonight, I'd like to thank my wife, who wasn't able to make it tonight. Even though we were married once my football career was over, and you didn't go through the entire ride with me, I know that if you did, you would have been just as supportive as you are now. You are my rock, you are my everything, and I love you. To my daughters, Amaya, Tally, and Zoe, you guys are my why. I know you don't know what Daddy has done in his life, and soon you will. Just know that Daddy will have your back no matter what. Lastly, to Ken Miller and Jim Hobson, two of the best men I've ever been around, thank you guys for believing in me. Together, you guys gave me the keys to the best franchise in Canada. I hate that you guys aren't here to enjoy this moment with me tonight, but I promised Jim before his passing that I would be back, and I would be back as a Saskatchewan Roughrider. I know you're looking down smiling right now, and I hope I've made both of you guys proud. The impact that both of you have had on my life is just unexplainable. And lastly, to the fans in the province of Saskatchewan, the best 11 years of my life were spent serving you. I say to you that I gave my all each and every day, and I hope I made you proud. The experience here has been nothing short of amazing, and I thank you for giving me the best years of my life. Thank you.
Once again, let's hear it for two great men, the legendary Roy Shivers and Darian Durant.
And Darian, I heard today at practice, they said it looks like you still have a few series left in you, and that you still can rip a corner route. That's the rumor. All right, we'd like to invite our three partners from the gala to help us present the amount raised from this evening to the Saskatchewan Roughrider Foundation. So please welcome Charlene Gavel, again, representing SaskTel 5G, AGT Foods President and CEO Murad Al-Khatib and his wife Michelle, and WCPD President Peter Nicholson to the stage, along with the Foundation's Executive Director, Cindy Fuchs.
All right. For the number we've been waiting to hear, we are excited to announce tonight's gala has raised over $170,000 to directly support the Win with Wellness and rider reading player presentations across Saskatchewan to help ensure all our province's youth have the resources they need to help better their own mental wellness and literacy skills. $170,000.
Wow, amazing stuff. Before we head home for the evening, the Saskatchewan Roughrider Foundation wants to sincerely thank every organization in attendance here tonight. So to do so on their behalf, we'd like to pass the mic to the gala co-chairs, Murad and Michelle, to say a few words.
No, I'm not saying
Perfect. All right. Well, listen, again, thank you to each and every one of you for showing up when we ask. And I think that what I really hope that you all go away tonight recognizing is that, the Saskatchewan Roughriders Foundation, this is not, a frivolous football thing we're doing here, right? What you're stepping up to do, is making an impact in the lives of young people in this province. And, I want people to understand one thing. We got involved in this many years ago. The Riders players that are involved here, we're not showing up at schools to do pep rallies and to celebrate football, right? We've got trainers going to schools that are making impacts in young people's lives. We've had the misfortune in our tenure involved with minor football and with football in this province, in the last 7 years of losing 5 of our players who did choose a permanent solution to a temporary problem. And those are young men that were a part of a team. They had coaches, they had all of us around them, and we lost them. And so, recognize that what we're doing here is truly impacting the lives of our young people in our province. So when we tap you on the shoulder and we ask you to contribute a table and with the amount we're asking you to contribute, I want you to know that we take it very seriously, that you're entrusting us with those resources. And I can assure you that, the work that the foundation is doing is truly making a massive impact in the community. And, the pillars of amateur sports, health, wellness, literacy, and mental health, the programming that we're doing is synergizing with so many and providing content to schools. What we developed with this is curriculum that is permanent. It's evolving. So, I really want to thank the foundation. I want to thank every one of you, and I want to, again, urge you that when we make that phone call, recognize that not only are we appreciative, we take it seriously that you entrust us, and we thank you very much for all of your support. Please have a great evening. Please have a safe ride home. And just before I go, I do have to say one thing to Roy and Darian. You know, Sir Winston Churchill said the price of greatness is responsibility. And, you know, I can tell you that, you know, the work that the two of you have done, when I look back at the time from the early 2000s until today, you know, you truly made an impact in our community. You came in from the outside. We embraced you, and the two of you embraced us. And you helped us to affect change in this province, a change in the attitude, right? A change that everyone here knows. You know, we have an incredible province, an incredible place to live, and we're all making a difference in the world and all the things that we do. So the two of you, thank you for coming. Thank you for allowing us the honor to honor you. And for all of you tonight, have a great evening.
That's it. That's it. Once again, congratulations to our newest members of the SaskTel Plaza of Honor. Thank you all for joining us, coming out and helping celebrate them. You'll, of course, hope joining us celebrating a home playoff win when we get that on Saturday at Mosaic Stadium, right? On the way out, please help yourself to a sweet treat. And again, have a safe trip home. Britt, we'll see you on the sidelines.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you can't make it to the game, you can listen on the radio on CKRM or you can watch on TSN. Just letting you know.
Talk to you Saturday. Thanks for coming.
If you have program ideas you'd like to see on Max TV Local, let us know at sasktel.com/local.